Are you hungry for more Odd Eyes Magicians? Because I have done some duels with this deck. And if you guys want to see Odd Eyes Magicians in action, there will be a link down below or on the top right side of your screen that you can click on so you guys can see the video where I use this deck in action against a bunch of other decks in some epic and amazing duels. It was recorded for my Christmas special for the channel, so please check it out. Any support would be greatly appreciated. So yeah, that's it for my little drop-in, and without further ado, let's get on to the deck profile. Hello, and what is up guys, and welcome back to another video from Screencasters. And today I'm going to be doing a deck profile of my Odd Eyes Magicians to the channel. This deck profile is going to be incredibly different from my previous deck profiles of Magicians, solely because most of the cards I'm using are not out yet in the TCG. Now before I start explaining my choices and my theorio, one thing I want to point out is that I will not be going through every single card in this deck list as some people tend to do, solely because that's kind of tedious and most people who clicked on this deck profile pretty much already know what most of these cards are. If you have a question on what a specific card is that I'm using in this deck, just comment down below in the comment section what two cards it's between, and I'll answer you guys there. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started. So the first thing you might notice is I am still playing the Magispectors, as in 2 Bun Bun and the 1 Kieran. Now I know Kieran did get banned in the OCG, but we're not really sure where our next ban list is coming in. Knowing my luck, Konami's gonna release it like the same day I upload this deck profile, because they've done it before. But as of now, with the current August 2016 ban list, Kieran is still legal at 1. And I only play 2 Bun Buns because you don't really need 3. Bun Bun kind of conflicts if you have another high scale because he's a 5 scale, so you can't really go into too many monsters besides your Kieran, your Oaf, and your Odd Eyes Dragon when you do your Pendulum Summon. I mean, you can argue that you could use Bun Bun and search for another Bun Bun, but that's not really what you play him for. As for my start time targets, to dump to the graveyard, I have 1 Noble Dragon, 1 Tuning Magician. These are pretty much the only magicians that have graveyard effects, and they have some weird synergy with the deck. Another thing I want to point out is I'm not playing the Astrograph Sorcerer or the Chronograph Sorcerer. The reason for this is I don't feel they're really consistent in a non-Zark oriented build. As for the graphs, only do 2 of each. You don't really need 3 of them because they are searchable with your Iris Magician and their effects are once per turn, so you don't need 2 on the field. But by far, the trap card is amazing. The fact that it doesn't target if you don't blow up a monster is just super good, and it sets up some of your plays if you have start time on field, and even if you do pop your Violet Poison, you still get to pop another card, which is just incredible. I'm still playing 3 Apex Avian. I love this card. As long as I play this deck, I will be playing this card. It's so good, and it adds to your going first factor. This deck really wants to go first, and if you have an Avian plus your live back row, in addition to your start time, like what is your opponent going to do, you know? And if you have Persona on the field, like negating their extra deck monsters so they can't even beat over Avian, it's just super good. As long as you have a playable hand, Avian will always put in some work. And of course you play 3 Toon Magician because this is by far the best card in the deck, besides Pendulum Call because that card's fucking amazing. Basically, she gives you access to your Ignister, your Enlightenment Paladin, as well as your start time Magician. The best part about it is if you overlay with her, your monster doesn't get banished. So there's some double utility there for getting into some rank 4 action. The extra deck is pretty self-explanatory, however, you go into Trishula with your Toon Magician if you need to get rid of some of your opponent's advantage, and you hardly ever go into Crystal Wing. However, there have been times where you can go into it, so it's something nice to have there. You always gotta hold on to your Ignister. You don't want to waste them because he's basically your out to everything in the game, and since you only have 1 copy and can't really recycle them, you have to really think about using them. And this is basically my tech card, if you can call it that, Enlightenment Paladin. If you guys don't know what this card is, you make them with your Toon Magician instead of Ignister, and when you do, you can add a spell card from your graveyard to your hand. And if you destroy a monster by battle, you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to that monster's original attack. One more thing I want to point out about Paladin is that he is a dark spellcaster, so he has a ton of synergy with the main deck. I am playing 2 start time. I don't think you need 3. I mean, there are times where you can go into the 3rd one and loop that, but it's not really needed. The extra deck space is pretty tight, so having 2 is basically all you need. He's essentially there to search your Joker or your Toon Magician. We also have Diamond Direwolf and Castell for some spot removal, and we have 1 Magister to search out whatever missing piece you need in a brick hand, whether that be Joker or your Insight Magician. As for the side deck, these are just cards I was considering in the main deck, or I was playing in the main deck, but I haven't really got around to using them yet. I was maining Luster, but I just cut him for space. Abductor is really good, however, you would have to play more terraformings to use her, and Maxi, I feel better siding in the Maxis in this deck. It wants to go first, so if you open up in a Maxi, going first is not really as good, but I try to make this deck as consistent as possible. So yeah, that is my Odd Eyes Magician deck profile using the OCG cards. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Once again, if you guys want to see this deck in action, check the description box down below, or click the card on the top right side of your screen to see this deck in action. action. So yeah, if you guys have any comments or suggestions on how to make this deck better, I'd love to hear it in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like the video, comment the video, and subscribe to my channel, which is Screencasters, for more epic and amazing videos similar to this one.